Ladies and gentlemen, October is upon us, which means each week I will be reviewing a different horror movie. Starting this week off with 2022's Talk to Me, directed by Danny and Michael Philippou, I believe. Raka, who I had no idea made this movie. I just watched it last night. Or yesterday during the day with my friend Mariah. Shout out to Mariah. Man, I was so happy because I knew that they directed a movie, and I've been subscribed to them for years and years and years. I love the Ronald McDonald series. I love the Red Bull video. They have like some WWE videos that I enjoy a lot. And yeah, man, seeing their names pop up, I was like, what? I did not make the connection at all. They caught me as a complete surprise. And golly, man, I mean, I was so proud to like see their names on there, man, because I really enjoyed this movie. Okay, so I'll go ahead and read a brief synopsis of the movie, kind of give you guys an idea of what you're going to get into. When a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes a terrifying supernatural forces. Mia is still dealing with the death of her mother. I believe it's the second year, or the year anniversary of her mother's death in the beginning of the movie. And you can kind of see her kind of ignoring her dad. Her relationship with her dad seems kind of strange. Since the death of her mother, it's kind of, she doesn't want to, be with that. It seems like she hangs out more with her group of friends, which are Jade and Riley, who it seems like she spends most time over there at their house, hanging out with them. As Mia begins to see these sets of viral videos, which show a person being possessed over and over again, and her friend Jade kind of like downplays it. Oh, it's fake, this and that. And Mia becomes, more and more interested. I really dug this premise. It seemed really original. Like I said, I'm not a big horror guy. Obviously I love the classics. I love the classic slasher movies, and recently with Hereditary and Midsummer by Ari Aster, I really enjoyed those movies. The Witch as well, which that didn't really scare me as much, but there are these two other characters, Joss and Haley, which seem to be the owners of the device that allows them to talk to the dead, which is basically this ceramic hand. You can kind of see it behind me on the poster. And what you do is you grab a hold to it. First they strap you down to the chair, grab a hold to the hand, say, talk to me, and you'll see a spirit. You'll see someone from the afterlife looking across from you, freak you out. Then after that, you say, I let you in, and the person, the spirit comes and possesses you. I believe the time limit was 90 seconds. So you shouldn't go over 90 seconds. That actually plays a big factor later on to the movie because, especially with Mia's character, who out of Riley and Jade ended up becoming the one most interested in the possession. As mentioned earlier, finding out that this was made by the Raka guys is like the cherry on top, because like I said, I enjoyed the movie a lot. I thought the premise was good. I thought the acting performance was really good, especially the person that plays Mia absolutely like kills it, just fully like went for it. She really went for it. And the little boy who played Riley, who I'm not sure if he is a little boy, he just looks like a little boy. I don't know how old he is, but I thought he did a fantastic job as well. And honestly, having that knowledge that it was directed by them, looking at it, the film, I believe it's set in Australia, which I believe they're from. And it totally feels like it, looking back on it now, days later, a day later, it definitely feels like a Raka like production, from the practical effects. And I believe this budget was like really low. I believe it was like 1 million, it was very like low in the low millions. So on Wikipedia it says the budget was 4.5 million. I'm sure that's with distribution and all the other stuff, commercials, ads, and it's went on to gross 90 million. So it's very profitable. I'm very proud of the guys. I really enjoyed how everything felt uneasy. There was always a sense of tension. There was always a sense of uneasiness. As mentioned earlier, Mia is dealing with the death of her mother. She just feels disassociated with things outside of her friend group with Jade and Riley, and even in her friend group with Jade's always kind of with her boyfriend. She's playing the third wheel, this and that, So she kind of feels like the odd man out, per se. So you could tell why she was fascinated with the whole demonic possession. But yeah, the story gets real creepy really fast, honestly. The opening, I don't want to get too much into it, but there's something surprising that happens in the opening that ends up playing part later on in the movie. And yeah, not for sure. Right from the beginning, from the first time where everyone's together, where they tell Haley and Joss to to bring out the hen, or whenever they first meet up with them. And I gotta say, man, this is a side tangent. This is a side tangent, but the person that plays Haley annoyed the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I believe their job in the movie was to annoy me, and I think they accomplished it. Just a dickhead, just a dick. You know what I mean? Every time you saw the person on there, you're just kind of like, why are you so mean? You know what I mean? What a fucking asshole. But played by Zoe Tarax, who did a phenomenal job. I think they really nailed that role as just an unlikable person and just a rude kind of, every time there's any interactions, it's real cut. It's real like, yeah, we'll get all here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll fuck off. You know what I mean? It's real like transactional. It feels like all their dialogue. And I feel like most horror movies have characters like that. There's usually like a dickhead in the group, you know what I mean? Or an asshole in the group. So I thought Zoe absolutely killed it in that department. And I gotta say, something about a movie being set in Australia, a completely different vibe from here. I'm from Houston, Texas, you know what I mean? So usually the horror movies that I see are, American. I know there's some foreign horror movies that are phenomenal. Train to Busan, I believe, was one, the zombie movie that I haven't seen yet, which I might review at the end of the month, to be honest with you. But anyway, yeah, I'm used to like, the campy teen kind of thing, which you kind of had here in a way, but it being in a different country, I thought gave it a different flavor. The dialogue was witty. Their accents kind of did fuck me up a little bit. I had subtitles on, and honestly, I probably should have kept them on because there was some dialogue, especially between Mia and her dad, which I couldn't tell if her dad was American or not. I think he was American. I really couldn't tell. But sometimes, like, and I think it was done on purpose, where like his dialogue kind of feels distant rather. Where it's kind of like hard to hear, and even Mia's being like, what? She's like constantly turning on the scene when she's like washing dishes, and he's trying to like reach out to her, trying to connect to her, trying to probably open up about like the mother's death, and Mia is just not having it, doesn't want to deal with it. And I feel like there's a lot of people after grief. Let's get down to the biggest question. Is the movie violent? Is the movie a scary movie? What I consider a scary movie? To answer the first question, it is violent as shit. Honestly, if you watch any, not that like I know that this is made by Raka Raka, I love it. And I mean in general, I like movies like Terrifier. Honestly, I think I was gonna say that Terrifier 2 is probably the last horror movie I've seen, which would have been around like this time last year. So yeah, like in terms of graphic horror movies, I'm used to it. I thought they knocked it out the park with the practical effects. It is very violent. I will say that. Yeah, it gets real violent and disturbing as well. There's some disturbing scenes in there. I'm just like, ugh, this is like just creepy. You know what I mean? This is a creepy scene, and not just creepy, but also eerie. You know what I mean? Where like there's nothing overly, stimulating, but just it's like like I said, there's a vibe throughout the whole movie that's eerie. Something's off. Something isn't quite right. I found myself enjoying the world that they created, and that there's this group of kids who are just like, and I will call them kids now. I'm 26, so I feel like I have the pass to like, you're a kid. Like I have the pass to call people younger than me kids. And yeah, this group of teenagers who are just kind of, fascinated with this possessional game that they end up playing, and they all partake in as well. I believe Jade and another character, Riley's friend, are the two ones that don't participate, but everyone else does. Haley participates, Josh participates, Jade's boyfriend, who I can't remember his name right now, but he participates and actually has like a pretty funny possessional scene. Pretty terrifying, but also kind of hilarious, like by the end of it. Don't want to give too much away with that, but yeah, the fact that everyone participated, it made it feel more inclusive, because you look at this group of people and they don't really seem like they would get along all well, you know what I mean? And they all kind of bond over this, these group of different individuals all kind of bond over this possessional, game that they're playing, and everyone's bringing out the phones. I thought that was very accurate. If this is something that would happen in real life, I think that'll be really, really accurate. You know what I mean? And we see it all the time, with possessional videos, exorcism videos, the kind of in the moment reaction that most people would have, the kind of, we have to capture this, we got to film this, we got to, you know what I mean? I saw a video the other day of these dudes chasing a tornado or trying to get away from a tornado. I don't know what it was. They totally got inside the tornado, and power lines fell and shit was getting electrocuted, and they just looked horrified by the end of it. But something about humans just tells us that we need to document everything, which I think is both detrimental and beneficial to society. I also want to talk about Miranda Otto, who plays Jade's mom in the movie. I thought she did a really good job as the kind of like parental figure. Her and Mia's dad both kind of play like the two adults in the movie. Mia's dad is kind of like more distant. We see him every once in a while. And I actually enjoyed the fact that like the movie's called Talk to Me. Mia's dad is constantly trying to call her throughout the movie. She's like ignoring his calls, and it's like, talk to me. You know what I mean? I don't know if that was, I'm sure that was done on purpose. And it is a simple thing, I know, but something about little details like that, I always enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I remember reading something about The Departed where, and I would want to do a video about this because I know there's plenty of Easter eggs on the special features of the Blu-ray. But they put X's everywhere, and whenever someone was gonna die, there's an X. So throughout the movie, you look and something's gonna happen throughout there. I always love when directors do that, little like subtle tells throughout a movie, because you don't need to spoon feed everybody, you know. And I feel like most horror movies that people see, they are kind of spoon fed with the information. I think leaving something up to the imagination, and there's plenty of questions I had after this movie, by the way, of, you know, without getting into any major spoilers, like I said, just kind of like the aftermath of the movie that I was really interested in. But it's good to have the audience guessing, and it's good to have the audience, you know, asking questions and talking about a movie. Some of my best memories that I've had at theaters is walking out with a group of friends, just chilling in the parking lot and talking about the movie for, you know, 10 to 20 minutes after, you know what I mean, or going out to eat after the movie and just talking nothing, you know, just about the movie itself. I think that's a sign of a great movie, and I think that's what they have here. Sophie Wilde, who, like I said earlier, she just knocks it out of the park, and fully commits to the role, fully embraces everything, and they all do as well in the possessional scenes. They're all like doing a fantastic job of like convincing that they are under. But I think her like subtlety when she's not possessed, and her subtlety in her dialogue really like sent it home for me. I thought she did a fantastic job. A very frustrating character. Me and my friend Mariah were talking about yesterday how she was reading reviews before. I didn't see anything about the movie. Like I said, I didn't even know it was directed by Raka Raka. I had no idea about this. The only thing I knew about this was a still image of Mia being possessed with her eyes all like dilated, her pupils all dilated. Literally the only thing I knew about this movie. So I was discovering all these things, and she was telling me how, like, yeah, you know, they said that the main character was kind of like irritating, and you definitely want to grab her every once in a while and be like, yo, like, fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? Because she just starts bugging out and just becomes obsessed with this possessional game, especially like the more and more she does it, the more and more she sees it done, she becomes more and more obsessed with the dead. The fact that it generated that much money, people are talking about it. I am so proud of like Raka Raka, bro. I cannot express to you guys how much like this inspires me, especially as someone who loves films as much as I do and would eventually want to do something like this. Not a horror movie per se, but directing my own feature film. And the fact that these two dudes did it, the fact that like I used to watch them, like I said, the Ronald McDonald videos are like classic, like super classic YouTube videos. The every WrestleMania finish ever video that they have is like hilarious as hell. And you know, the favorite video of theirs that they put out was one where they kind of showed them. They were like, it was them as kids. It was like old footage that they were filming even back then when they were children, playing on trampolines, playing backyard wrestling, stuff that I used to do as a kid. And it was like with this great song in the background. It just like back then it brought tears to my eyes, you know, seeing like, because it really reminded me of my childhood. And I wish that I documented stuff like that, man, because like it looks like they had a blast and a phenomenal childhood. And the fact that like these two brothers totally directed this movie and it's a big success, like very proud of them. I can't say enough things about them. I'm very proud of you guys. If you're watching this somehow, congratulations. I hope you guys have like a fantastic future directing more movies, whether it be more horror movies, whether it be different things that you guys want to do. I would be there. And I'm definitely gonna turn on notifications. I don't know, man. I haven't seen y'all's videos in forever. I don't know how frequently they publish stuff. I remember seeing that they were making a movie, and that hey, we should check it. You should check it out. Blah blah blah. But honestly, I just scrolled by it. I didn't even pay no mind. I think I saw it on Facebook maybe. But yeah, super proud of you guys. Very very inspirational to see this. But yeah, I'll go ahead and wrap my thoughts up on the movie. I enjoyed it a lot. Like I said, I thought the directing was well. I thought the effects were well. Acting, I thought I couldn't really tell you a bad performance. I kind of bought everyone in the movie. In terms of bad things, the soundtrack every once in a while threw me off. There were certain tracks that they'd play where I'm like, will kids really be listening to this? But again, I'm not in Australia, you know what I mean? So I believe the music was actually by one of the members of the cast. I think Joss actually did some of the music. I know he's a musician. I saw him because I thought he was one of the dudes that were in Rocka Rocka videos, but I don't think he is. But yeah, he I think he did some of the soundtrack. And like I said, the whole soundtrack isn't bad. It's just certain songs I was just like, it feels weird like in this scene, but I mean, other than that, like a 30-second or not even less than that, you know what I mean, transitional scene, I was kind of like, but I mean, is that a big complaint? Not really, honestly. Like, I really enjoyed this movie a lot. Highly recommend it. I believe you could rent it right now on Amazon Prime for like $3.99, and I highly recommend it, man. I think you'll have a blast watching it. If you're into horror movies, I can't see how you won't like this. Like I said, it's bloody, it's violent. The story's unique, it's interesting. It's a different flavor. It being in Australia, like I said, it is a different flavor, man. I think something different in horror. That's kind of what it keeps me away from it, honestly. The whole franchises. I know we just had a new Saw come out, and a new Exorcist come out, as I mentioned earlier. The Nun as well. The whole, I almost said Poltergeist. What's it called? Or Poltergeist is a trauma movie, but oh my lord, what's it called? The whole Annabelle shit. You know what I mean? The whole like Conjuring. The whole Conjuring thing where, you know, once horror movies especially become more like franchises, it definitely like kind of keeps me away from them. You know, where I think I saw the first Conjuring, I thought it was good. And then after that, they just kind of like devolved into like more and more things where it's like, well, this just feels like a cash grab at this point. You know what I mean? And I kind of felt the same way with Saw. I thought the first 3 Saw movies were fantastic. After that, I just was like, this is getting ridiculous now. Homeboy keeps coming back and, you know, he's dead and then he's back. And it could be frustrating as a viewer. This, however, if they do decide to do more, it seems like this is going to be kind of a one and done with this movie, specifically the whole talk to me thing with the hand. I could see them doing more if they really wanted to. But I think this will be better as a standalone, and I'm really interested to see what they do next. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Please leave a like. Please let me know what you thought about the movie itself. What horror movies I should review next. Like I said, next week I believe is going to be Evil Dead Rise, and I love the Evil Dead franchise, so I'm really interested in that. I don't think Ash is in it, to be honest with you, so I'm interested to see what happens there. But yes, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, all the good stuff. Podcast drops this Friday. I will also be reviewing the Drake album, For All the Dogs. Roof Roof. That'll be Thursday, I believe. So be on the lookout. Can't even talk. Be on the lookout for that. And yeah, till next time, guys. Peace. Thank you so much.